But we realized how robotic we had become, and how we were really missing connecting with each other. And we kind of had to like figure out how to do that again. And when we got back, he was sitting on the edge of the bed and I was folding, gobsmacks of laundry like I do every day. And he was like, I'm unhappy. And I was like, what? Like I immediately came, defensive. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, we're not called to be happy. What are you talking about? Like, who's happy? I cry in the shower almost daily.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever. Yeah. And then like I was able to kind of sit back. Like I pulled myself back and saw him as God was seeing him as this boy who had, endured his parents' divorce and had some brokenness that was unhealed, still inside of him. And being able to look at it through a different perspective, a different lens, and see him how God was seeing him, and that him feeling safe enough to say he was unhappy is not a point of attack. It's a point of, again, that surrender. And do I trust that Jesus put us together? Do I trust that this relationship has more in it? And really leaning into that and being like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. And we have our ups and downs because I am loud and strong, and and he's not. So he definitely helps to keep me grounded. He allows me to float where I need to float, and then he brings me back where I need to be brought back to. So we definitely support each other in our greatest strengths, and fill in those weakness gaps for each other.
Yeah. Oh, you sound a lot like me and my husband. So that'll be fun for us to all connect in that regard. And it's a passion of ours to like really help people in the space of entrepreneurship that are both navigating it. And whether both people consider themselves entrepreneurs, my husband is an entrepreneur himself, or not, even if there's one in the marriage, it's a whole different experience than people who have 9-to-5 experiences and get to have date nights or don't have kids, or there's like a lot that doesn't go away. As an entrepreneur, it doesn't go away. You don't turn off the thing. It stays on. There's constantly calls.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember prior to me being where I am in my season now with this, and I had little kids, like little, maybe 2, 3, 4 years old. And we'd be out to dinner and my husband would just like, I have to go. And like, he'd have to go take a call. And I'm sitting there with the kids like, oh man, again, not 6 kids. So that's a little different, but still, I still felt isolated, which you probably did. I still felt alone, which you probably did. I still felt incapable, which you probably did. And so this is the journey of motherhood. And then to have the entrepreneurial on top of that, it can feel very isolating and very much robotic. That's a good word. I don't think I've used it in that context before. And so one thing that we are very conscientious of is like making sure that we're having conversations that aren't always just about that, as hard as it is, because it feels like priority a lot of times.
Right.
And then not to also talk about the kids. It's like, how are you? What are you passionate about? What are you learning about right now? How is God speaking to you right now? And having to be super intentional with questions. That's my husband's superpower. He asks questions that often make me uncomfortable, sometimes make me cry because I don't want to be vulnerable, because I'm like, I got this. I've got it all put together. Right?
Yeah.
Lord. But here I am initiating this conversation associated to women, and our superpower is empathy. But it sounds like we have really empathetic husbands.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's necessary, and I'm so grateful that God paired us together, because he knew I needed that. And he knew that Matt needed me and what I bring to the table. But it is challenging. We just got back from Cancun yesterday. We got to get away for a couple of days.
I thought you looked sparkly.
I know, I'm 10. A little burnt, it's fine. It was having to kind of shut it. And I love working.
Yeah.
I love it. I didn't create this work for myself so that I had to take a vacation from it. You know what I mean? Like, I created this because I enjoy it so much and I love it and I can pour into it. So I did steal a few moments to kind of tick away and get
Yeah,
some
of
things
course.
done. But to make sure that I was spending time with him and not on my phone or not on the computer and just sitting on the beach,
Yeah.
just sitting,
Yeah.
you know,
And knowing that as you bask, you are loved, right? Like it's
right,
not the doing, it's the
right,
being. We hear this all the time, but we can get stuck in, again, the robotic elements because we love it though. Like we're the one who puts the shoes on. We're the one who turns the mic on. We're the one, right? Sending the email. And yet there's such a, because it's a calling, it
Mhm.
is an expression of our obedience, in my
Yes,
opinion.
yep, I agree.
And that is hard for people to understand. I've had somebody who's told me, like, you're going to burn out. You can't go that fast. You can't go that hard. You need to stop. Do you really think you can maintain this? And I remember taking offense to it initially. But if there's ever an element of offense, that also means that it's an opportunity for us to see why and is
Mhm.
there truth to it.
Right.
And it was more so a trigger point to what I used to be driven by, which was perfectionism, which was success, which was accolades, versus operating in tandem and pace with the Lord.
That's right.
And they can look, because the enemy is good at confusing us, they can look
There
very,
is.
right? They can look
Yeah.
super similar. So how
Yeah.
do you stay, like, besides just your spouse, and perhaps even your kids, how do you stay in alignment? What are some of your favorite ways to, like, make sure you're in constant flow from heaven?
Um, I mean, it's in how I start my day for sure. And you hear it all the time in productivity stuff is how you start your day, and really, how you start your day is how you end your day from the night before. And but
Wow, yeah.
I have to start out my day like immediately speaking with the Lord, good morning, thank you. And it's just that sweet conversation, those moments that we have. And when you're on my podcast, we talked about the lamplight and how precious that moment is with him. Um,
Love
and then that's what I do. And we go and, Matt sits on the couch and I sit in my big cozy chair and we have the lamplight on and we just spend our time getting fed and poured into by the Lord. And, you know, it, one of the main things I'm known for is being joyful. And that's because it's his presence. Like that is the fullness of joy. And so making sure that I'm checking in with that consistently, because it's hard, especially having 6 kids and getting interrupted all the time. And I mean, I can hear them outside right now. And, you kind of start,
Yeah.
and it's very easily to go hot.
Yep.
I do that real bad.
Yep.
But just, again, being really surrendered and aligned with allowing him to work through me. That's how I do it, is being intentional to put him first and to think of him often.